Hey guys, this is ENHades. This is another Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, I did a video recently where I called out the only rares that I would take to max if I was starting the game again. This video, we're going to do the same with EPICS. So EPICS I would take level to max if I was kind of starting the game again and I was trying to build a team of really strong champions. Now, I'm going to be walking through all of the EPICS that I think are super strong in the game and where I would max them. But you need to bear in mind that you have to build a team. And that's more important actually than building like 5 individually strong champions. So you need somebody in your team that's going to manipulate turn meter, either speeding you up or slowing the enemies down. You need someone who's going to drop defense of the enemy. You need someone who's going to come in and support your team with heals, protection, resurrections, that type of stuff. And then you need your damage dealers. So you kind of got like 5 core components. Even better if one champion does multiple things of those components. But bear that in mind when you're listening to me call out about these different epics. Something else that I just want to bring to your attention. Yesterday, I dropped a video about the new Doom Tower boss, the Dragon, Iradoth. And at the same time, I put in a chance to win this account. Somebody's left the game. He's he's constructing his family, and he is leaving this juicy prize to somebody. So firstly, Josh, thank you so much for allowing the giveaway. But you need to comment on that video from yesterday. You need to follow the instructions from the video yesterday if you want to be in with a shout of winning this mammoth account. Thousands of dollars spent on this. It's not for everyone, but for some people, this would be a really massive prize. So if you're interested in that, check out my video from yesterday on Iradoth the Dragon. Right, let's get into today's sponsor. Guys, I'd like to thank Demon the Defenders for sponsoring this video. Demon the Defenders, what is it? It's like your classic tower defense game, but they're using superheroes as the towers. They've all got super cool abilities and all sorts of stuff going on. You can use the code DMENHades. I will pin it in the description below. You're going to get yourself some free Brucey bonuses when you first log into the game. So the areas that you're defending, the areas that you're setting up your towers in, some of them are like American landmarks. Pretty cool. And they've also got this system in the game where you've got shard summoning, hero collector. Does it sound like Raid? Yes, it does. And I think a lot of people are going to like that element to a tower defense game. So you can see here, I'm summoning with my shards. You can get anything from a kind of rare hero right up to legendary. And then you get different star ratings. You're going to get yourself some good heroes. And I have smashed my Thor through the ceiling to get him some crazy damage. And this game is not just about tower defense. I actually add some different elements in. They bring in some kind of different nuances, which is kind of cool. They've got like this PvP mode where you're putting your strongest defenders up against other enemies. There's live PvP, there's battles, there's different events that kind of come alongside that. So you can actually get yourself a lot of different bonuses and gear to equip on your champions in that mode as well. So as I said, guys, if you want to get involved, you can use the promo code DMENHades. I will pin it below. I'll also have it in the video description. I want to thank them again for sponsoring, and there's going to be a download link. If you download via that link, it'll be helping me out. So guys, enjoy the game, and let's get back to the raid video. Okay then, let's get to the meaty stuff. Let's find out which epics I would be maxing out. Now, as I say, there's tons of options now. There's actually a lot more strong epics than there's ever been in the game. But if I'm looking at Bannerlords, if you get yourself Helmet from the Doom Tower, I still haven't got mine yet. I'm been a bit slacking here, but Helmet is fantastic. Fantastic. Like, such a good champion. He's got turn meter manipulation. He's got control in stuns. And he's got some really strong buffs as well. So, Helmet, really, really good. Worth building out once you get him. Oathbound. Oathbound has got a ton of control. He's got decreased attack here, turn meter control. He's got block cooldown skills here as well. And he's got a freeze. So he's all about like a defensive champion that can control the enemy. I really like this guy. Some people don't. I really rate him, actually. I think he's really strong. There's a couple I could call out, like Gerard hits super hard, but it's all single target stuff. He's actually a ton of fun, but I wouldn't max him unless you're struggling for damage. Alaric, similar really, can do a bit of damage, but definitely not there in the top tier. Knight Errant does a load of damage, but hard to keep alive. So next one I would max, Stag Knight. He would come in as one of my top champions to max. Decreased defense, decreased attack. I would book this if I've got books available. Brings a decreased speed as well. If you can book this as well, even better, but it's not a necessity. Great base stats. Definitely worth your time. Definitely worth your investment. Who else we got in here? Now, you've got Wardcast. A lot of people say, why don't you talk about this guy? I only really like him for an unkillable team, and I think there's better options for unkillables. So if he's your only option, then yeah, take him to max. He can do some good damage in an unkillable. But otherwise, I probably wouldn't max him. The only other one here, Ursula the Mourner, definitely worth maxing out. One of the strongest revive abilities in the game. Revives all team with 50% of their turn meter and 75% of their HP. It's almost just getting them up and starting again. It puts an increased defense and strength and buff on them as well, which is insane. Basically means you're picking them up and then they are unkillable for a while. So I really like this move. She also brings an AoE decrease attack and a buff increase attack for you. That's also kind of like crazy move. Bit of turn meter control, bit of Doom Tower speed, good base stats. Ursula, one of the best revivers, one of the best support champs going. Let's move on to High Elves. High Elves, we've got a few absolute corkers. So Royal Guard, the first one, highest damage AoE hitter in the game for like, you know, big PvE content. So if you're trying to take end game content down, Royal Guard slams like no one else. Mainly because of this A2, he's got enemy max HP, and enemy max HP, basically he slams harder the more HP you're up against. Against bosses, this is an absolute like slayer. You know, spider boss, dragon, ice golem. He's going to do a ton of damage. He's also got a decreased defense on his A1. A lot of people don't realize this. And he's also got turn meter control and decreased speed on his A3 if you put accuracy into his build. So yeah, you don't need any attack in this build. You go high crit damage, get his HP up to keep him alive, bit of speed, bit of accuracy, and 100% crit rate, and then he's just slamming people down. Tyrell, we've got another decreased defense option here. Still a great champion in this game. He's one of the early ones, still top tier. So AoE decreased defense. There's also got a chance to put decreased attack out there. Sorry, if there's decreased attack out there, there's also got a chance to place a sleep. It's a bit situational, but it's not bad. He's also got a decreased attack on his A1. Pretty good for clan boss. Double hits. Each hit, good chance of landing decreased attack. And he's got turn meter control on his A3. If you fully deplete someone's turn meter, you get stunned for 2 turns. This is a really rare skill, and it's actually insanely good. Tyrell also hits hard. He's got a defense aura in all battles. He's just generally like a unit. Really strong champ. Other ones that I would consider maxing here, a bit few and far between really. You could call out Thanassel as a kind of support unit. I would take him to 50 personally. Vergis, definitely a strong support unit. Worth maxing if you're struggling for that. But again, I probably would take to 50 personally. And similarly with Battle Sage, I would take to 50. Probably wouldn't max her out. You can do everything she's doing here. I think maybe you gain a bit more speed at 60, but you can do everything she's doing at 50 that you could do at 60. Okay, so Sacred Order then. Tons of epics in this faction. Who would I max out? If I'm struggling for damage, I would max out Talia. She's got a really hard-hitting A2. She pumps her own attack and crit and then slams with AoE damage. She's got a counter-attack as well. She's got a triple hit A1. She's very good for Finite. Pretty good for Ice Golem as well. And she's great as an arena nuker. So if you're struggling for damage, she can come in and be maxed. Who else would I max? A lot of people say to me I should check out this girl a bit more. To be honest, I've not had a lot to do with her. We've gone our separate ways. I don't feel like she's really someone that I would like spend a ton of resources on. I think she's decent, but not like a let's go max her out straight away. Phoenix, again, if you're struggling for damage or if you're struggling on Ice Golem, massively hard hitting A1, really strong A1, which can block revive. And he's got a big AoE A2 with block buffs, block cooldown skills, and a decreased speed and decreased defense. He's got a lot in his kit. He hits very hard. So he would be someone that I would say take up to max. Deacon, without a doubt, should be max. One of the best. I didn't call him out recently in a video that I did. I don't know why. I was just having like an absolute divvy moment. But ally speed in all battles. He's got turn meter increase and decrease of enemy on a 3-turn cooldown. If you book it, you should book this. And he gets another turn, so he can then slam a decreased defense out there. 100% chance to land decreased defense, all enemies. And he's got a leech as well. He's got so much in his kit. You do need accuracy in his build. You want him fast. But yeah, he plays in my clan boss team now, my 1 key teams on a 2-for-1 Deacon Eater. But yeah, fantastic, fantastic champion. Anyone else here? I mean, situationally, Cardinal in an arena setup. I'm going to do a video on this for tomorrow, actually, so you can see a bit of this going on. But situational, really. Certainly not someone to kind of prioritize. Inquisitor Shamal. This is somebody that the later you are in the game, the more relevant he becomes. And I think he is worth a 60. So he's got this counterattack, kind of A1, 50% chance of decreasing the duration of a random buff on an enemy. It's okay. Every time an enemy places a debuff on an ally, he uses this skill against that enemy. Very cool. So he only does half his normal damage, but he hits hard. And he's got this three hitter here, ignoring defense, placing true fear on enemies if he kills one enemy. It's really good. It's so good for Doom Tower. Ignoring defense is super important the higher you get in the game. Very good for the arena as well. And then he also just kind of straight up counters anyone that's casting fears on you. He's a little bit situational, but more and more so, he's got more relevance, especially with the new Doom Tower boss that fears you as well. I think he's going to get a lot more playtime. And then Godseeker, I do have it on my agenda to do a guide on her soon, but great, great champion as well. So she's all about support, this one. Got a bit of healing going on here. AoE damage plus AoE team heal here, which is really good. And increasing your buffs, decreasing their buffs. Really great skill. Based on defense as well, so you can build a tanky, keep her alive. And then she's got this fantastic revive here. So revive someone with half their health, half their turn meter, but gives them a full reset of abilities. Very cool. Passive does more healing, and a great part of her passive here. If someone's about to die, she preempts the death, puts revive on death on them for 1 turn before the damage taken. So basically it's giving someone a straight revive. So you get a straight revive, and then you get a second chance to revive as well. Very cool. Very different type of kit to most champions in the game. Let's move on to the Barbs then. So Barbarians have had some upgrades since I did this type of video a while back. There's a couple you could call out. Not her. Right, Armina. Armina the Beast. What a champion this is. AoE, decreased defense, and turn meter control. So 2 of the things I spoke about at the start coming up in 1 skill. Chance to stun on an A1. Control, that's the 3rd thing. Remember I said if you've got champions that do multiple jobs, then they're great to have. She does multiple jobs. More turn meter control. Chance to stun as well. What a champion this is. And then a bit more turn meter control on her passive as well. She's got a super low defense. So she's quite hard to keep alive. You will need to put defensive jewelry on her. But yeah, get her accuracy up. Get her land in these abilities. And perhaps the enemy don't get a turn anyway. Who else have we got? So Alika is kind of like a sleeper quality champion. Hard hitter. Would I go out of my way to max her out? Probably not, because she needs a ton of books. But if you're struggling against a new Doom Tower boss, she does have this ability to increase the cooldown of an enemy skills, and she hits hard. She hits really hard. But yeah, you know. Would I max her? Maybe not, but it's worth a shout out. Anyone else here? Definitely not Woad. Hikatoon. Hikatoon, I would max out. I do use her still, even though I've got a crazy account. She's got decreased speed. She's got turn meter control for you and turn meter control against the enemy. She's also got speed in all battles. Don't feed your Hikatoon. She's a really useful champion. Factor in the fat. Farak in the fat. Someone I don't have yet. I really wish I'd had him, actually. He's got one of the best ally attack abilities in the game. Really good for the new Doom Tower boss. Apart from brings too many buffs, probably. But great for faction wars. Great for clan boss. Great for general content. It's got HP burn and poison as well. Decreased defense as well. And it's got this kind of weird passive going on, but which kind of deflects damage from him to everyone else. I don't know really why they did that on him, because it's not like he's squishy as they come. But anyway, maybe he's squishy, but not in that way. Yeah, Farakin, great champion. Definitely worth maxing out. I think the other one here, look, all of these 3 voids are good situationally. So if you're struggling on Spider and you need somebody who is going to spread an HP burn, then you would max Hearken. I've got Hearken ready to do a guide on. I just need to find the time to do it, actually. She's got some good utility, and she hits crazy hard, but it's all single target stuff. So it's kind of like, would I max her over an AoE damage dealer? No, but situationally, she is worth maxing. Sawai Firstborn as well, does a lot of damage. She can be good in a clan boss setup if you've got like an unkillable team going. But the other one I would max would be Sky Touched. You probably could just run her at 50 to be fair, but lots of healing, lots of like team good buffs for general content, arena, Doom Tower, and a nice passive as well. So I think, yeah, she's definitely worth looking into as a max. Let's go on to the tribes. The Ogryn Tribes. First one I would max for sure. Another one of the new champions, Udo. Decreased defense and block buffs. 2 of the best debuffs you can place together. So you've got dropping enemy defense and a bit of control. Block buffs is kind of like low-key control because the enemy team is still going to try and buff even though they've got this block buffs on. So it's kind of like wasting their turns. And when the enemy team start buffing, you're going to start feeling pain because they will be way harder to kill. So this is actually a really strong ability. It's got Leech as well. She's got this weird kind of like cleanse. If she cleanses, heal reduction, then you get a heal. But basically, she does cleanse a random debuff from your team as well. This is the best part about it. She's got this kind of passive that increases her speed and blocks damage on her. And then this ability, if all allies are dead, she revives them with half their health, half their turn meter. It's really strong. Great base stats, great champion. Skull Crusher. He's probably fallen out of favour a little bit because of unkillable teams. He used to be the go-to for clan boss. He's still super strong. Like if you've got him in a clan boss setup, old school team, he's still going to take your damage way up from not using a counter-attack champion. And his skill set is good. He is used in some unkillable teams. He's used in unkillable teams with the tower. Mainly because at the same time of putting counter-attack and ally protection out, he also puts an unkillable buff on himself. Bit of heal reduction here is kind of not what he's used for. And he can just shrug off debuffs. So he shrugs 1 turn off all debuffs at the start of each round. Now, it doesn't cool down this ability when he does that. If he's stunned, this won't cool down. A lot of people think it will. It doesn't. But still, super strong champion. Well worth your time. Shatterbones, sleeper OP champion. His AI is a bit wonky. It's not great. When we can control AI, this guy is going to shoot up because he's one of the best turn meter control champions in the game. Triple hit here, 50% chance, goes up to 75 to decrease turn meter by 30%. He's also got places decreased speed and fills turn meter for your team. Both of these hit, both of these hit pretty hard. Both hit pretty hard. He's got an attack one enemy and increase attack on your team. So weak source increase attack, but it's better than nothing. Increase accuracy in arena, it's okay. I think he'll get playtime in arena and general dungeon content as soon as you can control the AI. But he is still good. He's good right now. Dialka, tons of damage. The rest of his kit's a bit average, but don't sleep on his damage. He's one of the hardest hitting AoE champions going. I did a video on him quite recently. Grush, a free champion here. Tons of damage. He brings Leech as well. Lots of damage on his AoE hits. Decreased attack as well on an AoE. It's very strong. And heals as well on an AoE big hit. So, again, he's a free champion to get. Once you've got him, he should be going into a lot of your teams. He's really, really strong. Ice Golem, Clan Boss is probably the 2 areas I'd say he's strongest. But he can really kind of support, carry any content in the game. I did miss Occult Brawler. You could run Occult Brawler at 50 pretty comfortably in an unkillable team. The only thing you really get from level 60 is just a few more stats, basically, and the chance to put a banner on, I guess. You do want accuracy in his build, so maybe the banner's super important, but you can run him at 50 in an unkillable team. If you're not running an unkillable team, I would suggest you definitely take him to 60. And when I say max him to 60, I wouldn't book this champion. I don't feel like you need to. You get a bit more debuff chance here. If you can book this Without booking this, I would. But certainly can run him without books. Obviously, the Man-Eater, you can't go through this type of chat without a Man-Eater call out. One of the best, if not the best epic in the game right now because of his unkillable ability. You have to max the books into his A3 to make his unkillable work effectively. Kind of need 2 of him to make the best teams out there, but 1 of him and a Painkeeper, and you've got yourself an unkillable team. He's also good in any content in the game. Like, super good. He's got a decreased attack AoE, he's got turn meter steal, he's got unkillable block debuffs. They're all strong abilities for all content in the game. He was one of the champions that helped me beat Faction War 21 super easily when I put him into my team. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to the Lizards. Not many here, to be honest, that I would go out my way to max. In fact, for Clan Boss, if you're looking for that decreased attack champion for A1, he's good. You have to book this out for him to be effective. If you book this out, it becomes very effective, and he's also got a great kind of A2 ally protect and increased defense, which is useful for Clan Boss. Outside of Clan Boss, I think he's pretty weak. The one I would go out my way to max would be Aox, the Rememberer. I think he's a brilliant champion. Great passive ability to increase debuffs. He's got some poison here. He's got some healing on his A2. And then he's got a decreased attack and potential decreased crit rate on his A3. Also got Doom Tower accuracy, which is useful. But this kind of passive heal, or not passive heal on his A2 is really good. And this kind of debuff extender is really strong as well. I really like this champion as a general all-rounder. No one else there, I think it's worth maxing. If you're very early game, Jizzo could be good for you, but he soon falls off very quickly. Basilisk does hit kind of hard, but there's way better than him out there. Skinwalkers then. Skinwalkers, you've got a good champion in Taurus. He doesn't need to be maxed. You can play him at level 40. He'll do the same job as he does at level 60. You've got... Who else we got here? Some people really like Ursine Ironhide. If you're struggling for like a decreased attack, bit of turn meter control, he's decent. I wouldn't go out of my way to max him unless I'm struggling for champs, but he is decent. Steel Skull, still very strong, still able to carry a team. He brings increased defense and healing, single target high level heal, and some poison. Pretty good for places like Dragon. Good protector for someone like Spider. Good protector for someone like Fire Knight. And he's good in Clan Boss as like a secondary poisoner stroke healer. Fane is worth maxing out to 60, especially if you're going to run her in an unkillable team. She hits hard. She's got a lot of debuffs going for her. Decreased defense, weaken, poison, decreased attack. Tons going on. Great for faction wars as well. She is worth maxing out. Only really, though, if you're going to be playing her in your Clan Boss setup. Basher just got an upgrade because there's a Doom Tower boss who needs this ability. I think he's worth taking to 60 anyway. I think he's fantastic. Can easily be your go second champion in the arena, which is great. Does bring a weaken as well. Does bring a chance to block buffs. As I said earlier, block buffs is a really strong skill. He's actually very underrated. Both his A2 and A3 hit really hard. Okay, let's move on. So, Orcs. Any Orcs that I would max out here? Yes, Orcs are strong. Ultimate Gaelic, well worth maxing out. Brilliant for Spider if you're struggling on Spider because of his HP burn. He's also just kind of good in faction wars because he's got turn meter control on his A2 and his A1. He's good in general content. He's like way better than people give him credit for, but his main spot is Spider 20. Duke, a bit like Stag Knight, but defense based, so perhaps a little bit better. Brings decreased attack and decreased defense together. Really strong ability. Decreased accuracy as well is okay. I actually wish he'd just get rid of this A3. His A3 really lets him down because at the moment he prioritizes it. As soon as I can control abilities, I'm turning that bad boy off. But he does have a provoke on it. I guess sometimes that provoke could be useful, but for me, it's all about his A2 on a 3-turn cooldown if you book it. He's worth maxing out in full. You could call out the helmet. He's mainly about his revive. I feel like someone like this can pretty much be running the same as he does now at level 50 without too much trouble. So I probably wouldn't max him, but he's a great champion. If you're struggling for a decreased defense champion, then Zardala is a great option. She hits hard as well. Like, you can get a lot of damage out of this A3, so you can pump her damage up. But to get her to do damage and to do her abilities, you need a lot of stats. You need crit, you need speed, you need accuracy, you need crit damage, you need attack. That's before you're even keeping her alive. So she's quite hard to make do damage. But just for a decreased defense, she's strong. She has this kind of cool reset ability if you do get her doing damage, because if she kills someone, she does that A3 again. But yeah, cool champion. Who else in here? Brask probably just got a bit of an upgrade because of the new Doom Tower boss. You can play him at 50 pretty comfortably, but at 60, because his healing is based off his damage, so it's passive based on so no, he heals 10% based on his HP when he crits. So no, it's not based on that, but his stats go up a lot when he gets to level 60. So I probably, if I'm going to run him, I probably would 60 him if I can. Sandlashed, definitely worth maxing out. Great champion. Provoke on her A1, it's kind of like, okay, fine, whatever. But massive hitting AoE on her A2. Also increases your buffs and decreases enemy buffs. And a fantastic passive. Ally Protect, block damage on herself, defensive based, defense in all battles. Really underrated champion. Seer, strongest damage dealer in the game for waves, mainly over this Karma burn. You just need to match her up with people that are going to buff and get her crit rate up, get her crit damage up, and she is going to blow stuff up. Really worth 60 in, one of the best. 2-hack is actually a good champion, like hits hard. Is he worth maxing? If you're struggling for damage, I think he is. He also brings a bit of turn meter play. He brings a chance to increase the cooldown on abilities. But mainly, I like him for this. AoE hits, decrease enemy speed, increase his own speed, and he heals himself as well, and it hits hard. So mainly, if I was like building a nuker out, he brings a bit more than the average nuker. Okay then, onto the Demonspawn. Demonspawn, we've got a lure. You can actually play a lure at 50 and get her to do her job, but she's pretty stat hungry, so you need to keep her alive. You need her crit rate up. She's just all about this A1. Triple hit, decrease the target's turn meter every hit. It's the best turn meter control ability in the game. She'll do this every time the enemy's turn meter, if it's a boss, is above 30%. So you don't even need to control her that much. She does bring a weak source, decreased defense. She does bring a sleep, which is kind of underrated in her kit. Super good in Faction Wars, good in Doom Tower. Great champ. Who else have we got in here? Next one I would call out, I think. Nazani, you could give a bit of a call out to. She's a good protector, but I probably personally wouldn't max her out unless I'm struggling for champs. But Attack the Wenderin, what a great champion. I love this champion, one of my faves in terms of epics. Brings block buffs and strengthen. Strengthen is the strongest buff in the game for your team. Also brings this brilliant A3. Freezes the enemy if they've got higher attack than defense. Burns them if they've got higher defense than attack. There's some situations where you can manipulate this and do things like decrease attack an enemy to try and force the burn. But generally, in most content, it's a freeze. And the cool thing about this is when people wake up from being frozen, your whole team get 10% turn meter each time. It's insane against Spider. It's great everywhere else. I really like it. Really good kit. Really interesting champion to play around with as well. We've got here Tarshon. Pretty cool. Increased defense and turn meter fill. So if you're trying to get a nuker out of a defensive-based champion, this is the type of ability you would use. AoE weaken as well is kind of good. I think situational as to whether you'd max him or not, depending on who you're trying to pair him with. Think about what I said at the start. You know, you're building a team here. If you've got a team based on defensive champions, then actually his turn meter fill and increased defense is stronger than like an Arbiter turn meter fill, because an Arbiter increased attack is not going to empower your defensive champions. So depends on where you're playing him and who you're playing him with, but could be very useful. Padma, worth a 60. AoE, decrease accuracy, hits hard. Can remove all buffs from an enemy and steal them basically, and hits hard. and then a double hitter decrease attack. Defensive based champion, build a full defense, and great for clan boss, great for general content. Kind of cool in the arena if you're up against Skull Crowns. She removes the Skull Crown unkillable buff with this move here and just straight out kills her and becomes unkillable herself because she steals it. Very cool. And Umbral, I mean, Umbral's just great. Umbral is great. AoE block buffs, big old hits, 100% chance to land. This hits hard. And then another AoE, provoke, 100% chance to land if you book her out, and makes herself unkillable at the same time. She is an absolute carry for Faction Wars, for Doom Tower, and she is brilliant in the arena as a go second champion. Okay then, let's look at the undeads. Lots of undeads in here. Actually a lot of good ones as well. Gordrab, I'd say early to mid game, he is insanely good. I did a video yesterday using him for a new player trying to get into Silver 1 Arena. He straight up is like insane for the arena. Fills your turn meter and gives you increased attack. It's a brilliant move. He's also got a team revive here, which is good for carrying, and an arena speed aura. I'd say past the mid game he falls off, and you probably could run him at 50, level 50, pretty comfortably. But yeah, I mean, he's certainly one that you would max if you've got the resources to do it. Seeker. I mean, Seeker situationally is one of the best at his job. So he's in the best clan boss teams in the game. And for that, you're going to want to max him. He hits really hard. He's got a turn meter fill and increased attack. So I said about Tarshon, increased defense. He does the increased attack version, but he gets another turn as well. Basically means this is on a 2-turn cooldown once booked. So it's one of the best abilities in the game to cycle through turn meter. It's got a provoke as well. And he's also got this cool passive that if he takes a big hit, everyone on your team gets increased defense. If you position him high up in the turn order on your team, when he takes the hit, if it's an AoE, the increased defense spreads before the damage hits everyone else. So it's actually an insane ability to stay alive as well. Who else have we got in here? So can't really forget Dark Elhain, crazy damage dealer, one of the best epic nukers in the game. And she's got this kind of passive that she starts activating the nuke whenever someone's getting frozen, which is very cool. She can shake off a freeze as well one time before it goes on cooldown and give herself some buffs. Very cool. Really good champ. Husk does the same damage on his A3 at level 1. Sorry, his A2 at level 1 that he does at level 60 fully maxed. Bear that in mind. So if you're looking for a damage dealer, Husk is good, by the way, and he's got this great stun, but his main part of his kit can be done at level 1 that he would do at level 60. Who else would I max in here? Musin Mage is one of the best epic support champions in the game. You can run him at 50 kind of comfortably, but if you're taking him into endgame content or endgame arena, then 60 is going to give him way more survivability. But you've got increased crit rate, increased defense, block debuffs. It's very cheap to book. He's generally pretty cheap to book compared to most epics, and he brings a lot of utility. He brings support, he brings turn meter, fill, he brings heals, and great buffs. Someone I'm due to do a guide on as well. There's tons actually right now. Vogoth, what a champion this is. It's a shame that his chance to increase cooldown of skills is based on a provoke, because I think he would have been great for the new boss, but doesn't work. But he brings a leech ability when he's hit. It's very cool. He's got a triple hit here, which is nice for Fire Knight. Each hit chance to increase the duration of one random debuff. It's good as well. AoE provoke, AoE decrease attack, and he's got a couple of passives. The passives are all about healing him and his team. So he's a straight up support champion with a ton of utility. Really, really good. Last one to call out, I guess, Anax. I mean, a bit like Fane, really. Hard hitting, great for an unkillable team if you get them in the right setup. I did a video on this a few days ago. Worth checking that out. But brings decreased defense, weaken, poison, and is the hardest hitting epic to do this kind of single target stuff for clan boss. But he does have this weird passive that you have to bear in mind, that he can get an extra turn when he drops low on health. So you can only really run him in a comp that allows for this chance to get an extra turn. Or you run him in a comp where you go fully block damage, like with a tower comp. Okay, on to the Dark Elves. Dark Elves, again, we've got some good ones. Caden is worth calling out. A lot of people seem to have forgotten about this guy. He's got AoE decrease attack. He has got a 2-player revive, two random ally revive with increased defense. Defensive based champion, hits hard as well, and he's got a provoke on his A1. Generally, just like good support champion for this faction. Spider's a great champion. I wouldn't max him. I would run him at 50, but got a lot of good debuffs. Decrease attack, decrease defense, and weaken. So if you're struggling for a decreased defense champion, then he does that and more. Really strong. Once you get this Rian, definitely worth maxing out. No one will have her yet, but block buffs, weaken, and this kind of very cool revive ability. You've got champions like Luria, AoE freeze, block revive, good champion, but a little bit weak compared to others in terms of damage. So one of the better ones in this faction, but I would only max her out if I'm struggling for damage and control. Definitely would max out Lua. Lua's got a triple hit, A2, full nuke ability, turn meter drop here, and an AoE ability here. Very good for Fire Knight, very good for Spider, great in the arena. Sylar's one of my favourite epics. 2 AoE abilities. They don't hit that hard, so I wouldn't bother about damage. I would run control gear like stun sets, that type of thing. Decrease turn meter and decrease speed, A3. Turn meter control is huge, and this is a massive turn meter ability. And then faction crit aura, good base stats, really good to have in your team. And then the other Void, also insane. Probably the best arena champion in the game. Got a full buff strip, A3, then throws decreased attack and decreased defense on the enemy at the same time. Crazy, crazy ability. The rest of her kit's kind of good as well, with True Fears and block debuffs and stuff going on, stealing buffs, but she's mainly about this A3. Okay then, Night Revs. Night Revs, tons of epics in here. Not that many great ones though. Miscreated Monster, super, super cool. Great for, I mean, it's pretty much like the mid-game pull to get you through Spider. Anyone can beat Spider if they've got Miscreated Monster in their team. AoE ability here. 50% chance to stun. A lot of people forget about this. You need accuracy to stun. Yeah, but then puts out a massive shield on your team. Ally Protect as well, and some healing. He's got a passive heal, passive fears as well, sorry, if someone's getting hit. And they've got Ally Protect on. And he's got a chance to drop defense and stun on an A1. Great, great champion. Tenacia, hard hitter. A lot of people sleep on her as well. Hard hitter, double hit A1. Lockout ability on her A2. You know, again, a lot of people don't really appreciate how strong she is. She's great in an arena blender team. That's what she's best known for. But for general content, Ice Golem, general wave content, she is also a pretty high damage dealer. You can actually, although she's got a low base attack, she's got good multipliers. So if you pump her attack up a bit, she can actually do a lot of work. You put her in a stun set, she does good stuns on her A1. And she's also got this kind of heal ability on her A3. Doom Priest, one of the champions that kind of has come to the forefront since Doom Tower's come out. She has just got a bonkers passive. Every time she has a go, she cleanses one random debuff from your team. It's a great ability. She doesn't do a lot of damage. She can set up a bit of damage with this increased attack, but it's an average ability. She's all about this passive. Get her to cycle through her turns as quick as possible. Rector, I don't have. I've done a guide on her though. She's really good. She's one of the best healers, stroke support champions in the game. She's got a revive here, which is good. She's got this passive. Whenever an ally under Veil or Perfect Veil gets a turn, heals them for 10% of their health. Yeah, she throws out the Veils herself, and she does another heal here. And she's got a decreased attack A1. She's really good. A lot of people are using her for arena defense teams. She's annoying in arena defense. She's great for this faction, and she's a great just outright carry for any content in the game. I skipped Sepulchre. She's definitely worth taking to 60. One of the best clan boss decrease attack champions in the game. She's got this strong ability here, but she's also got increased defense and block debuffs, which is fantastic to speed tune, to stop you getting the stun, to stop you taking those debuffs against the different affinity clan bosses. So outside of clan boss, she's decent. She's got this ability to block some damage for one of your allies. But in clan boss, she's a god. Who else have we got here? Faceless, you could call out for like single target nuker. A lot of people use him and love him. I did a video on him and actually was very good. In fairness, he did just take out, you know, the Duchess or the Krisk or whoever you want, really. Anyone who's high defense, he will just straight out one-shot them with the A3. But he does need to be a 60 to do that. So if you want to use him for that, it needs to be a 60. Skull Crown, I've done a few videos on her recently, actually. She's just so good. AoE smack, unkillable here. She's like the queen of the mid-game arena. You see her so much in arena teams because she's just so valuable there. You know she's going to get a turn because she can't be killed. She's also got a great speed aura for arena. But outside of arena, she's also good. Any content, really, she's going to be strong. I mean, the other two here are okay. Golden Reaper, okay. I prefer, personally, just like High Katoon or Apothecary to her. So, last two then. Dwarves. Grizzled, worth maxing out. He's got a team block debuffs, a team increased defense, which is nice. I wish his block debuffs for 2 turns, really, because 1 turn quickly runs away. You need to speed tune him well for that to work. But he's got an AoE decreased attack here as well. And he's got decreased targets max HP. It's decent. He's defense-based. He hits hard. He's good in a clan boss setup. He's good for faction wars. Again, rearguard, great champion. Mainly, I would max her for faction wars. Outside of faction wars, she's good. She's got ally protect. She's got heal. She's got decreased attack and decreased defense. She's pretty solid all round. I feel like there's better champions than her to do the same type of job, but pretty decent. Same sort of thing with Rockbreaker, really. He's fun in the arena. He's great for faction wars. Outside of that, I think there's champions that just do better. But he does have a team provoke. Melda, great champion. Got revives. Got support. I think you can probably run her at 50 pretty comfortably. But great champion to take to 60 if you're looking for that support type role. Bob Bar, I don't even know this guy. AoE decreased defense. That's just the guy. He's one of the new ones. Yeah. So AoE decreased defense. Again, if you're struggling for an AoE decreased defense ability, it's one of the strongest abilities in the game. It's on a 4-turn cooldown. It's not the quickest. It is a 100% chance to land. It is Spirit Affinity, which might just be one that you're lacking. But not bad. Not bad, champ. I like this guy, Runekeeper Dazdirk, sorry. Leech ability here. Everything's based on defense. A bit like an Arbiter, increased turn meter and increased attack at the same time. He is great to set up your arena nuker. So you go speed up from somebody. He then pumps turn meter again and increases attack. You then drop defense. Then you lay a slam. Everyone sits down. See you later. This guy is actually really great for that role. He has also got a full cleanse here and heal. So the two things locked together, actually really strong. Anyone else in here? I mean, again, just for faction wars, Gala, she's kind of okay in the arena, but there's way better out there than her nowadays. Rugnar, bit weird. He does kill himself with his passive. Because of that, I feel like I wouldn't max him unless I'm struggling for a decreased defense and weakened champion. But if you use him on something like Spider, he goes decreased defense and weaken. The rest of your team are then set up to do as much damage as possible on the Spider. So situationally, he's strong. He's also got a leech ability. He's a good champion. The passive is just a little bit concerning to me. Okay, last one, Shadowkin. New faction. I don't have any of these personally, but I've used a bunch of them on the test server. The Frog, for me, is the best one of the lot. AoE provoke, good chance to land-ish, 50... increased by 5% for each enemy on the team. So actually can get up to like 70-75% pretty comfortably. Decreased attack A1. And he's got this kind of support mechanism A3. Pretty strong support. But his passive is good as well. When attacked, 50% chance of placing a big poison on the attacker for 2 turns. Pretty nice. So the Frog is good. Otherwise, Shinoru hits kind of hard. She's got a weaken ability. She's okay. I like this, so this kind of part of our A3 which hits hard. It removes all increased defense buffs before attacking. That's super crucial in a lot of content, actually, where you're just struggling to kill someone. So this is quite a nice ability here. And Aboru, I've not used her myself, but I've seen her do a lot of single target damage. But again, single target damage, is that going to be what you want to max? I probably wouldn't personally max her out, unless I'm going to struggle for this faction. So there you go, guys. Like, lots to talk about there, but hopefully, if you've got some of those epics, you can now start to form your own team. Don't forget about Demon. If you want to download that, the link will be pinned below and in the description. I've been EPICS. I will see you later.